Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Perspective coming to you live from the newsroom. Actually, this would be the control room, but it's a Pete idea. Yes, folks, I copied it from Pete. If you have perfection, you have to follow it. So that's what I did. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you here. Looks like I'm cranked up on DLive and Facebook. They're both rendering, of course. Going to be going over some headlines. I'm going to be starting to try to do a news brief a couple of times a week on things. Well, let me get that turned off. Well, get over here. Click that so it will shut up. All right. Now we're back. All right. So anyway, I'm going to be doing news briefs a couple of times a week. I'm going to be working on I'm going to be starting on a studio here very shortly. My budget doesn't allow for it all at once, but it'll come in slowly. I'm going to be actually adding a 8x10 section right on the back of my house, and that's going to be my permanent studio when I get that done. Anyway, I am on DLive. I am DVP, so make sure you follow me over there in case something happens with YouTube, because I will be able to continue to broadcast over there. Right now, I am doing fine on Facebook, but that's always up in the air. It's kind of the same group of hateful people that run the organizations. So if I get knocked off of Facebook, then I would be looking for another avenue. But everything I do is backed up on Bitchute, and I go live on DLive, YouTube, and Facebook at this point. Hello, Miss Mary. Hello, Pete. Jeff, good to see you. C, good to see you as well. Propus. Michael Lowe, good to see you. Lou, Keyboard Warrior 911. I saw you over at Pete. Mitchell Reese, welcome. DPFX, how you doing? I saw that you posted about Ron DeSantis talking about the thing to not be named, the illness, the sniffles, all that stuff. Merrill Dixon, welcome. Anyway, so I'm going to be going over a little bit about that as well in just a few minutes. But there are some other interesting headlines, and I'm going to start with that to see what we got going. Apparently, my partner in crime that I'm stealing ideas from is lurking, so I threw up that thing right there so we can get the other half of the news. Scan family, welcome. How you doing? All right, just waiting on Pete to finish taking a leak or whatever he's doing. It's a shame U.S. patriots have to go to alternative platforms to get our message out. It is absolutely all invited. Drop it like it's Scott. How you doing, brother? Linda Horner, welcome. All right, folks. I know you just saw him, but it's a face nobody could love. I mean, get tired of is what I meant to say. So without further ado or don't, my partner in crime coming from the Patriots newsroom, Pete, the Patriot.
Hello.
Need a laugh track there, Pete.
Oh, hold on.
I mean, I'm sorry, an applause track.
Internal opening.
Did that work?
Okay, yes, absolutely good. Okay. I have I have one of those too, but I found out I can't hook mine up on the system because of the microphone that I have. So in other words,
mine don't look like that.
I have to buy an expensive one. Yeah, I've
had this one for a while.
This thing here cost me like $20.
Huh.
Yeah, well, I got it cheap. I figured I'd give it a shot, but it didn't work. So the one that I need for the Yeti mic is like almost $400. So I was like, oh, I think I can wait for that for a while.
You know what I have to say about
Kibo,
that?
how you doing? What do you have to say about that? Yeah. See, I can be my own soundtrack.
That's right. That's right.
There. That's the
That's
laugh
right.
track.
All right.
But, anyway, I wanted to bring you up here because we are in about the same thing, and I figured maybe a back and forth exchange would be maybe a little more entertaining than me just sitting here as a full head yapping. But sometimes back and forth when you're talking about specific headlines works out a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, we have cool newsrooms, so that had to help a lot too.
It's kind of like we're sitting side by side in a newsroom.
Yeah, but my studio's like not nearly as good, so. But whatever. I'll get there someday. If I keep copying you, I'm bound to be somebody someday.
As long as the message gets out, that's all that's important.
All right. Absolutely, positively. All right. Without further ado or a don't, as I always say, open up with an interesting story out of Tennessee. It says judge orders former Nazi concentration camp guard to be removed from the U.S. Yes, folks, a Tennessee resident who formerly served as a concentration camp guard in Nazi Germany has been ordered to be removed from the United States trial in Memphis. Frederick Carl Berger, according to the Justice Department, was ordered removed after admitting an armed guard for the subcamp of New Angami near Mapen, Germany, in which Jews, Poles, Russians, Danes, and other political opponents of Nazi regime were subject to atrocious conditions, working to the point of exhaustion and death. So this thing is not dead yet. We have World War II veterans in this country that still fight for the freedoms that we have every day, and but in Germany and in this country we still have Nazis running around. Do you know how they got here, Pete?
I'm assuming that Trump brought them in. I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, well wow, you're really good.
Yeah,
it's Project Paperclip.
Did we do something like that?
No, we haven't yet.
They haven't yet.
But
yeah.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Uh-huh. The U.S.
We
government.
were going to, but I had an engagement.
That's right. That's right. So, that could be a fact, fiction, and beyond show for next week. But the U.S. government, they brought a lot of those people over here after the war. Not just after the war, but during the war.
Right. Yeah, well, here's the point. The Nazis apparently were not the enemy of the United States. How can you have an enemy if you're funding them? And the United States, not necessarily when I say that, because I believe it was the Rothschilds that were funding the Allies, but the Bushes, Prescott Bush, was funding the Germans. So he was an ally of the United States. So when they got done playing their part in the war, then they decided to pick up the few that they could find, or the thousands that they could find, and bring them straight over to this country to give them a life of luxury after their job was finished of trying to exterminate an entire section of humanity.
Well, let's not forget the rat lines.
Let's
not forget, the rat lines that were pretty much funded by the Vatican to funnel as many Nazis out of Germany that they could, because that's what they did. That's what the Catholic Church did. Is they funded people, funnel them through Argentina and Brazil and everything else, and from there they migrated up to the United States to live a really nice life. So Thank you, Catholic Church.
Yeah, well, the other thing is it's the information is starting to sneak out a little bit at a time, but it's been suppressed for so long people don't believe it. But Hitler's doppelganger, I mean, it might have been his gagger. I don't know what kind of sexuality he performed, but doppelganger was the one blown up in his bunker, and the evidence is coming out that Argentina housed and sheltered Nazis, including him and his cabinet. So he got to live a nice long life. And
well,
the
Russians, the Russians,
disgusting.
The Russians picked up the skeletal remains of Hitler in the pit right outside of his bunker. And for 50 years, they held on to the skull, a portion of the skull and the jawbone. And when they released that after the Soviet Union fell, they compared those jawbone had the teeth and the skull and found out that it wasn't Adolf Hitler's teeth from dental records. They also found out that it was a girl, but it was a very young girl. It wasn't a girl that was Ava Braun's age in that pit. But they neglect to tell you that.
Like between 17 and 19 years old.
Exactly. Right. They neglect to tell you that he died in Argentina.
We need to save some of this fact, fiction, and beyond.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's save this for fact, fiction, and beyond. Well, we've got a long ways to go with it. We've given a taste. It's kind of like a promo. We should have done that and played that separately. But anyway, fact, fiction, and beyond. Next Wednesday.
Operation Paperclip.
Are we talking next Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Operation Paperclip next Wednesday, Fact, Fiction, and Beyond. So make sure you're there. 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern. All right. So that was number one that I wanted to bring up there, just to let you know that these damn Nazis that the left are screaming about actually do exist in this country. The problem is it's real Nazis that were the genocide killers of World War II that have been comfortably living here since the end of the war. Awake, welcome, good to see you. Everybody, if you don't have a Wake Up, she is running an outstanding channel. She keeps up on this coronavirus. She talks to Dr. Paul Cottrell. He's very knowledgeable in it. If you want to follow that kind of thing, make sure you subscribe to her. Clocks go forward Sunday. Thank you, DM. Yes, we spring forward, and I hope to God that this is the last time.
Oh, thank God for that.
We don't have to do this daylight savings thing anymore.
That means that the clock in my bedroom is going to be correct.
I never. Yeah, then you'll forget what time it is because you'll assume that it's an hour behind.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't do well with the winter time schedule. I've never been able to adjust. It's like I live on the central time zone. Mm-hmm. I can go anywhere in the country, and some people do like a jet lag or whatever. They have to adjust to the new time. I've tried my whole life. I've never been able to get used to another time zone. Oh, hi. How are you? I can see you. You don't have to wave at me.
That's just
it's the ghosts in his room, folks.
He's
waving at them again.
I got issues.
Good bless you.
Bless you.
Let's see who jumped in here. Indeed. I'm just seeing if I missed somebody. Oh, there he is. Benny Mobby's in here. How you doing? All right.
Hey.
If I haven't said hi to you personally yet, I'm waving hi to you personally as we speak. No, I like it when it gets dark earlier. Huh. I like it when it's nice and bright till late. All right. Now, the next little article I wanted to bring up is another example of President Trump is doing everything he really truly can about our judges, trying to get things corrected. In this article here, it says judge accuses AG Barr of lack of candor, orders a review of the full Mueller uh, this is not. I guess he's a federal judge. Okay, federal judge Thursday accused Attorney General William Barr of displaying a lack of that in. You know what? I'm sitting here almost cross-eyed staring at it. Like, can I read that? All right, that's weird. It didn't zoom in. But anyway, computers are evil.
Yes, they are.
William Barr of displaying a lack of candor regarding the public statements about Special Counsel Robert Special Counsel's report. Hold still. It's now zooming in slowly because it's changing the screen about every 10 seconds. All right. In a surprisingly harsh statement, Judge Reggie Walton ordered the Justice Department to allow him to privately review an unredacted copy of the report in order to determine whether previously redacted portions of the document can be released to the public. Yeah. What do you think of that? I mean, these judges, man. I mean, really.
Okay, look. The almost entire Mueller report was released.
Wait, get the pen.
Okay.
All right, now go for it. All right.
Almost the entire Mueller report was released to the public. I printed it out. I printed most of it out before I ran out of ink, so I could read it line for line. There were some redactions about, they said 2% were redacted. Those 2% were to protect methods and sources. Methods and sources
right. That were the, grand jury information, that kind of thing.
That were used, to do all that stuff. And the thing is that every Democrat had the ability to go into the SCIF in order to review that 2% that was redacted, and they all refused, so they can keep this bullcrap narrative alive, so these stupid judges can do stupid stuff like this just before an election.
Right. Blue 777, how you doing? Well, thank you, Awake. Appreciate you. We got a thumbs up and a emoji with sunglasses because we're just too bright. Future's so bright, we gotta wear shades. You know what I'm saying?
I'll text you. Yes. Okay, I hope I made myself clear on that.
You did.
Okay.
You may put the pen back down and relax now. I'll give you another one in a minute, but hold that pen because it makes a good security blanket.
Yes.
That way you don't come right through the camera. I believe the correct name is the Great Elon, ruler of Mars, attacks Earth. Well, I'd pay to watch that. Anything to try and take Trump down. That's right. And they get tired, I guess. Something. All right, here's a story that'll make everybody's blood boil. Mine already did. Ladies and gentlemen, the oven Mitt Romney could block Republican subpoena to try aimed at the Bidens. He's trying to block the subpoena of Burisma and the holdings company employees so that he can protect himself, because he has been implicated in the Crimea, not Crimea. What am I thinking of, Pete? This is why I have you here in peripheral brain.
Ukraine.
Yes, that's the one. All right, it says Senator Mitt Romney, Republican, Utah. I hope you guys in Utah are paying attention. Who faced the scorn of President Trump and fellow Republicans over his vote last month to convict at the Senate impeachment trial, questioned the motivation behind Republican effort to issue a subpoena related to Hunter Biden and his dealings with Ukraine. Oh, it's so political. Romney's going to go down. He's got to go down because that dude is a snake in the grass. Please tell me what I'm missing about him. Propers, how you doing?
Now, when I was in my live stream there,
I bleed American. Hey there.
California critics said that Romney voted for the subpoena. Okay, so I'm kind of confused. I haven't looked for the research yet because I just came on here, but he voted for the subpoena that Ron Johnson did to subpoena the one person. The Burisma thing is not going to go away. It's as much as the talking head pundits are going to say, oh, he's doing this for political purposes and so on. It's not going to go away. The paper trail is too long. It goes over too many countries, and the amount of dollars that was funneled through these countries, Ukraine, Latvia, Crimea, back to the United States, back to holding companies, it's all going to come out. That's why Hunter Biden was actively fighting against child support, because they don't want to open up his funds where his money is coming from, which is going to lead right back to daddy.
Right.
And right back to every other person in our government who is laundering money through the Ukraine. And it may include Mitt Romney's stepson or son or whoever that dude is.
Yeah, well, they've already they've already tagged him in it.
Right.
I believe Giuliani did. So the name was just mentioned casually in one of his things. Ida Shoemaker, how you doing? Does Romney think he can stop Giuliani? I'm sure he thinks that. I wouldn't be surprised. These people think they're invincible and that they're the all-powerful, and they're being reminded that they're not.
That's right.
Here's another one that I question, and that's Lindsey Graham. I'm just about getting sick and tired of him coming on TV talking about he's subpoenaing this guy. He's going to call him before a hearing, and another one's coming in next week, and all this other. I'm gonna. And all he does is I'm gonna. He doesn't do anything. He's implicated in this stuff too. There's a video of he and McStain both receiving medals from the prior president of Crimea, of Ukraine, and they're both getting a medal from this guy. Yeah.
Well, I've said it 100 times. I've said it 100 times. I don't trust Lindsey Graham. I don't like Lindsey Graham. I don't care that he's now supposedly on Trump's side. I don't believe that for a minute, because he's been the head of the Senate Intelligence Committee this whole time, and we haven't seen one investigation. He talks a lot when he's walking. Oh, we're going to do this, but hasn't done a damn thing.
Yep. Do you really think that's an accident? As long as he and McStain have been allies of the Democrat Party for their own personal gain, I mean, I'm sure that there were a lot of Democrats that said, we need to get him in this seat because he's a Republican. So we need to make sure he's sitting there so he can put up a wall. That's the only wall that the damn Democrats want built, is the wall between the public and themselves.
Exactly.
Graham goes where the wind blows. You're right, Harmony.
How come nobody?
Dangerous Freedom, how you doing?
Nobody ever called out McCain when he was over there taking pictures with the ISIS leaders? When he got caught, got caught setting up the gun running operation. When he got caught setting up the gun running operation with al-Baghdadi, snapping pictures of him.
You too, huh?
Right? Nobody ever called him out on that.
Merrill Dixon says, he says that Merrill Dixon says that he's blackmailed from both sides, and I sincerely believe that.
You're talking about Lindsey
Graham,
right?
Both sides have something on him, so when they need something, right. He has to dance on that very fine line in order to keep himself out of the dirt on either side. Let's see here. Just me, James Boyd. How you doing? Tony Patriot. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, make sure you guys. I'm going to let you know now that Tony is going to be cranking it up live right after me. So make sure you diddly bop over there and get yourself seated and ready and get ready for his show. So he will be going up right after me. I wanted to do this today partly to check out the new background, but also because there are so many things going on in the news. And one thing I notice about the news is certain subjects dominate the news, and then nothing else at all gets brought forward. And there's a lot of things going on from a lot of different directions. So I'm trying to keep that going. Real quick, I wanted to thank everybody who's now following me on DLive. I appreciate you all coming over there. Looks like Prop has dropped the lemon on me. I appreciate that. Gives me a sour puth. Anyway, so welcome to all of you. At this point, I don't see an indication on Facebook, but a lot of people that watch me on Facebook end up watching me later. So give me a thumbs up on Facebook if you're checking me out over there, because I'm just curious if there are words getting out. Dangerous Freedom. My son and I are going to become washing machine repairmen today. Wish us luck. Oh, I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. Have you seen the new systems with all their electronics and everything? Ugh. Anyway, so all right. So are we done with Pete and Oven Mitt?
Yeah. I got nothing else to say about that guy. I got nothing else to say.
Yeah. Take him out with the trash.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this is going to be, I'm going to bring up a little personal gripe here. We just got done with CPAC. I believe it ended. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it ended a day or two ago. But Matt Schlapp heads that thing up. And I have a little bit of an issue with CPAC and Matt Schlapp. Laura Loomer was denied access from CPAC last year because of being a conservative and, I guess, right-wing journalist. And the truth was a little too intense. So the CPAC made sure she was kicked out last year. This year, buddy of mine, Mr. Enrique Tario, he's running for a seat down in Miami. I'm working on getting an interview with him, in fact, so you guys can all meet him. He was refused access to CPAC this time. And the reporters for Alex Jones were refused and actually removed from CPAC. So, Mr. Pete, tell me, please, sir, what the hell is going on?
You know what we just talked about with Lindsey Graham?
Do you need to get the pen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here it is. What we just talked about with Lindsey Graham and John McCain, right? Two Republicans who does nothing but fight against Republicans. Okay. So you have the Laura Loomers and the Alex Jones reporter guy. I don't remember his name, but he got thrown out of a lot of stuff. Or people just like that.
Scarecrow just dropped an ice cream on me. Thank you. And also DM gave me a lemon. Anyway, I'm not interrupting. Please go ahead. You guys rock.
You got people like that.
That's the ones that over there.
The ones that call out the Republicans for their hypocrisy and not doing a damn thing, as well as the Democrats, who they don't want have anything to do with CPAC. Laura Loomer has her own show on a major network, right? On a paid network, Fox News. Laura Loomer has a show.
Right.
But they won't let her into CPAC because she tells the truth.
Well, they actually did this year.
Well,
they did
that's what I'm
this
saying.
year, but because she's running as a candidate.
Yes. Owen Schroyer. That's the other guy. The guy who points out everybody's hypocrisy, whether they're a Democrat, a Republican, independent, it doesn't matter. He points it out, and gets arrested for it on a daily basis, it seems like. But these are people who are actually showing these Republicans in name only for who they are. And they don't like it. They don't want them there. The Republicans don't want them around.
Right. You have to be able to show both sides of the toilet. At some point, people have to realize, I mean, this country was not intended to be a two-party system.
No.
It wasn't intended to be a party system at all. It was supposed to be a government of the citizenry, and all Americans are the citizenry. But they created this party system so that they can have their democracy. That's why they say our democracy all the time, because what they've done is they've created a democracy, and they use corruption in the voting system to ensure that they get control in their democracy, because in a democracy, majority rules. So all you need is one more person on your team, and all of a sudden you get to make all the decisions. That's not how this was supposed to be.
No.
The only way to remedy it is they've got to do something where both sides have an equal number, and that's it. Get rid of the democracy within a republic, and bring it to the point where both sides have 50. That means you have to have cooperation for every bill that's proposed. You can't do the thing where you're jamming down somebody's throat because you have one more person on your team. It doesn't work like that.
No, but they make it work like that because it's to their advantage. Because every once in a while, believe it or not, you do have honest politicians. Believe it or not, you do have an honest politician that will come through from time to time.
Both of them, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
So they have to be able to counteract those honest politicians. They have to be able to counteract them. They say, you know what?
Right.
He's not going to go along with these shenanigans. I mean, we're all going to get paid from this. But if he says no, then we're all screwed. We don't get paid. So what we need to do is change the rules to make it to where he doesn't count. And as the time and country went on, that's how it worked. That's how it works. I'm putting the pen down now.
Yeah, well, they got another tool in their toolkit. Yeah, right. They got another tool in their toolkit that they can use, and they do use, not just with the split parties, but if somebody contradicts their line of thought or chooses to question what they're doing, they have I just found child pornography on his computer.
Yeah.
And then they completely destroy that person because nobody is going to argue against that argument. If you get accused, then you are 100% guilty without question, without court. Nobody needs it. They just nail you to the wall. And that's how they can keep power, by threatening to destroy these people with that.
Unless you're a Democrat. Because you can be like Anthony Weiner.
Democrat.
Right? You could be like Anthony Weiner. You get caught texting sexual stuff to a minor. Your computer has sexual stuff to minors all over the place. Okay? You get a year in jail.
Yep.
Now, if that was a Republican who did that, they'd be looking to execute them.
Yep. And they would be in solitary confinement until the day of their execution.
Exactly.
It's crazy. All right. So here's another hit job. We took on the Republicans, and we're going to take on the Democrats with equal measure. And that's what I do here. I am not a puppet. I am not a drone. I don't follow. If somebody is not being a good Republican or being a good Democrat, they're going to get nailed by me, both of them. That's just the way it is. But this one here has me really, really bothered because I'm seeing more and more of it. And it says the backlash grows. Schumer denies threatening Gorsuch and Kavanaugh over abortion case. Unless you are complete ignoramus, you know what the hell a threat is. And when you tell somebody you won't know what hit you, especially to a person you're not going to get them in an election, that doesn't work because they're appointed for life. So what exactly do you mean by you're not going to know what hit you? Donnie Newman, how you doing?
Is that up to me? You ready for me?
Oh, I'm ready, man. I just pitched that one at you. I'm waiting for the swing and a miss or a grand slam, one or the other. Already conservative. How you doing, brother?
Chuck Schumer knew exactly what he was saying to the letter. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Because if he had any doubt in his mind that he was going to physically threaten by name 2 sitting Supreme Court justices and that he would have any issue over doing that, he would have stopped mid-sentence. Because his speechwriters wrote it the way that he can cover himself. I wasn't doing this. I didn't threaten them. I didn't say this. I didn't say that. Even though it did come out and people didn't have to interpret it for what he meant. He said them by name. What consequences were our Supreme Court justices going to suffer? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'd like to know that myself.
There is none.
The other thing is they're talking in the Senate, right? They're talking in the Senate right now about censuring him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've seen now that they wanted to censure Ilhan Omar. Oh, give me some names here. I mean, we've heard the names anyway.
Rashida
Adam
Tlaib.
Schiff, they wanted to do
Adam Schiff.
Right. So this is a list of people that they've wanted to censure for stepping out of line, and the Democrats rally, and they get their rhinos to rally, and they protect each other. And basically, it has become absolutely lawless in our elected offices. And, you know, where do we go from here? When do these threats start getting acted upon? We see Antifa doing their thing constantly. They're constantly looking for a fight. The problem is that there are certain people that are willing to fight, and they won't go up to them. They look for targets of opportunity, and they look for soft targets, and, you know, but the violence is constant. It's every day, and it's, you know, and it's being promoted by these Democrats. So I'm really concerned about where we're going with this. Kevin Morfan, good to see you. Let's see. Gloria, Lucas, welcome. And Wolf Stonehenge, good to see you guys. Anyway, so where the hell are we going? It's starting to feel like we're being backed into a corner like a honey badger.
Well, it's not going to go anywhere. To tell you the truth, it's just not going to go anywhere. If it was going to go someplace, it would have went someplace with Adam Schiff when he sat up on the dais and created an entire fabrication about a phone call that was transcribed. He lied to the American people. He lied to Congress. He lied to every news Sunday outlet show, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. He lied straight out, and they did nothing. Ilhan Omar said some people did something only because she didn't want to implicate Islam. Nothing happened. Rashida Tlaib said...
Visitor in the newsroom.
Yes, absolutely. Rashida Tlaib said, we're going to impeach the MRFer. And all the stuff that she said about Israel and all the stuff that she said about everything else, nothing happened. Chuck Schumer got up on the podium in front of the Supreme Court and threatened the lives of 2 Supreme Court justices. And guess what, Alex? Nothing is going to happen. Period. End of statement.
But here's one thing to note. I wanted to bring it up about the Schumer deal.
Okay.
There is a rule within chambers that you can pretty much say and do whatever you want in chambers without repercussion.
That's right.
But his little problem is he broke a law that's not affiliated with the protection of the chambers. He was on the steps of the Supreme Court and made a threat to the Supreme Court. I forget the law that's the number of the code right now. But the point is, it says very explicitly, you cannot threaten or intimidate the members of the court on the property of the Supreme Court. So he doesn't have his wall of protection from being in the Senate chambers. He was outside of them.
So here's my question to you.
Really?
Are they going to enforce that law? Are they gonna stand up and say, well, law, blah, 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 because you were standing here and you weren't standing here, we're gonna censure you now? No, they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it.
Right.
But they're gonna talk the big game.
That's the thing. I just wonder. Right. I wonder if they can get around the censure, though, because what he did was broke federal law. A censure is a situation within the chambers, within the Senate, within the House. That's like an internal law that they can punish, charge a little bit. Great informer. Good to see you. But what he did was he broke a federal law outside of chambers.
Yeah.
So they could actually pursue him federally.
Okay. All right. So James Comey leaked information, got on television and said, yeah, I leaked it. Leaking classified information is a federal crime. And you still got James Comey walking around waving, hello. Okay. The people right now, Alex, right now, the ones who defrauded a FISA court, the people in the FBI who defrauded the FISA court, they broke a federal crime. They lied to a secret court where unprecedentedly the court came out and said so. Do you know what their punishment was? Those people can't go in front of the FISA court to present the case anymore. Don't do it again.
Right.
Okay? So tell me that Chuck Schumer, that troll-looking dude,
says he thinks Comey will still pay.
Yeah, what's he going to pay with his visa? He's walking around looking at, in time. He'll pay it. Hopefully he'll pay in time.
It is frustrating. Hey, Patty.
But you follow what I'm saying? Yeah. Chuck Schumer, that looks like a troll with the glasses down to his nose, he's going to look over there and he's going to say, what are you going to do? I'm Chuck Schumer.
Hey, Karma.
What are you going to do? If they censure him.
What you going to do about it?
Yeah, if they censure him, I will come back on your show and say, I was wrong. But I don't think anything's going to happen. And I don't look forward to anything happening. You take that expression with a grain of salt. You take that grain of salt and cut it down into 10,000ths. That's what you take it with, the 10,000th grain of salt. Because it's all a bunch of crap.
I think the time will come. But it'll happen when we are about to pop like a zit. And then all of a sudden, give me that back. My dog's trying to help by stealing my mouse. I think it'll happen, but everybody will be plenty frustrated and ready to pop by the time it does.
And I think you're absolutely
Schumer
correct.
Is paying for escapades with the taxpayers funded slush fund. You're right. Yeah, there's a lot of that, and that still hasn't come forward even after it's been ordered to come forward to document all the money that's being spent to cover up sex crimes by elected officials.
And Alex, you know me.
Yeah, that's another one that needs to be brought up.
You know me. I am all for justice. These people getting justice. But you know what? It needs to happen quickly. Right. It needs to happen soon. It needs to happen now. Because they say that the president is undermining people's faith in the institutions. Well, if these people in the institutions can run roughshod over American citizens and break their own laws that they create and nothing happens to them, yeah, I'm losing a little bit of faith in the system. Just a little. Like that much.
Right. Truth Bunker, how you doing? Yeah, like that much. You can't even see my hands because they're above and below the camera.
Exactly.
Yeah. We have a long ways to go, but we need to get our vote out. We need to get Donald Trump for another 4 years. And, we need to be looking 8 years out from now, too, because this could quickly be flipped right back on its head if the wrong person is brought in after President Trump. Because this has got to continue until the entire system is down.
It will take 15 years or longer to undo what Trump did in 3. It will take that long. If you get a Democrat, if Trump gets reelected, he spends 8 years, okay? And then after that, you get a Democrat like Bernie Sanders. He won't be alive, but somebody like him that becomes president. There is no way that the United States is going to. There's no way the United States is going to say, well, we want to raise your taxes to pay for this. They're going to say, what are you crazy? No, we're not going to do that. And all these other countries that the businesses are going to be charged
if we get the
30% tax rates to be here, they're not going to go for that crap. Right. It'll take a long time to undo it.
If they shut down the Federal Reserve and there's a jubilee by the end of the next term, it's going to be very hard for them to touch anything in this country again.
That's right.
People will have a taste of reality. Connor Tags said there's bad on both parties, by the way. I'm a constitutionalist. I am too. I am a constitutional patriot, constitutionalist. I am of the American Party. I'm not. Right now I carry the tag of a Republican because Florida has a stupid law that says that you can't vote in primaries unless you are one or the other, and that means D or R. You can't be anything else if you want to vote in primaries in Florida. And Ron DeSantis needs to put a stop to that. A bill needs to be passed because I don't like carrying a tag of the party system that was put in place to put more control on the people and to divide America. Mm-hmm. Truth Bunker, I'm doing great. Good to see you all guys too. Cool, right on. Yeah, Florida sucks about the primaries. Absolutely, DM. As a matter of fact, we've got our primary for presidency right now, doing early voting, and then the 17th, I think, is when we actually make the vote. It's going to take all of America to get together as one country and quit the division. DPFX, I agree with that. The problem is the force is strong with the media and the left. They have incredible control of the people. The mind is fairly easy to manipulate. People are starting to see that a lot. All right, I want to get to this next part here. 10 minutes left.
Okay.
Are you talking to yourself? No.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
I was talking to the highlighter.
Nope, there it is. All right. Now, one of my walk around. Okay, cool. I did a walk around video and I explained how the system works with the Democrats. When they have something happen where our government removes their capability of receiving federal money, then there's always going to be a declaration of emergency. And I explained how that works. They get the declaration of emergency, and then all of a sudden the government funding gets released. And I told you at that time, because of this sniffles thing going on, that you needed to watch the liberal states and the liberal cities. Now, there's a difference between what's considered emergency and a state of emergency. Ron DeSantis declared a medical emergency, so that means that within the state, state funding gets moved around to be allocated for prevention and preparedness. A state of emergency means that federal requested. So what I'm getting at is California, Maryland, Washington. Those are 3 states run by liberal psychopaths, and all 3 states have declared a state of emergency instead of declaring a medical emergency, because they don't want their money in their state to be moved around. They want money from the government so that they can line their pockets and keep doing the things that they want to do.
You're assuming that they have money in their state. Now? Yes. Yes. They don't. What happens in California? In California, they don't have any money in this state to shuffle around. They just don't have it. Okay.
Right.
So they had to declare a state of emergency. But the thing is, with the Trump administration and California, the timing is perfect. But the problem that the California legislature has is that they learned from when Trump first got in office. Trump learned with Jerry Brown, with the funds for the high-speed rail. They don't just put the funds in the coffers of California anymore. The federal government actually doles the money out to the people who they deem necessary. You follow me? It's not like
I left with you a long time ago, so I'll follow you anywhere.
It's not like Donald Trump is saying, okay, California is going to get allocated $1 billion. And then they just give them $1 billion and it goes into the California coffers. No. California is like the redheaded stepchild of the United States. They won't allow them to have the money.
It has to Harmony. They pocket it.
It has to be doled out for a purpose. So if Gavin Newsom says, okay, this lab over here,
off of that.
But hold on, this lab right here is going to produce coronavirus testing kits. We need $6.5 million. The federal government, the Treasury, will write a check to those people for $6.5 million. They won't give it to Gavin Newsom. Why do you think Javier Becerra is suing Trump for everything? Because Trump is denying federal funds to California left and right. Left and right. He's not going to give them any more money.
Right. But the specific thing that's done by Gavin Newsom, he's learned from one of the best, which is the criminal Nancy Pelosi, coming up with her and his aunt. What he does is the money gets put into a pile for a specific project, and then he writes an executive order and declares that some of that money needs to be put over into this pot for this certain thing. Once the money is in the state, then crooked governors can do whatever they want with it. They just sign their little executive order and allocate the funds for whatever besides the money where it was supposed to be originally.
Well, that's what I did. I just said that on my show before we came on here, is that the gas tax that we pay in California is supposed to go towards road repairs, bridges, infrastructure repairs. Well, they just said that they're taking those taxes that they're charging us, the reason why we pay $4.50 a gallon of gas, and they're reallocating some of those funds to cover the pensions, because Jerry Brown stole all the pension money in order to cover everything else, all the stupid programs that he had for everybody. So, reallocation. It's a huge thing here in California. Reallocation of funds is a huge thing in California, and Trump knows that, and that's why they hate him here.
Right. Yeah, Merrill Dixon, you're right. Sanctuary cities were just cut off from the federal funds.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. As soon as a city or a state gets cut off from the funds of a government, then all of a sudden they have a state of emergency. They have a disaster. Something happens in their state so that they can reopen the coffers of government money. Because once a state of emergency is declared, it's no longer about the person that heads up that state. It's about the people.
That's
It's
right.
about the children of that state. So then, if the government says, nope, we're not going to give you money because of that state of emergency, then they can go, oh my God, he's not going to save the children. So it's a game, and it has to be, you have to dance lightly because the narrative can shift, the blame can be thrown around. They use it for political targeting, and that's that's how it is. Citizen Man showed a map with all the sick people from the coronavirus was from Democrat districts, even the Republican states. I'm not at all surprised because this is going to be the golden goose for the Democrats. But I'm not downplaying it. We actually have a COVID-19 case in my county. So I've already mentioned that if my wife gets this thing, it could be a death sentence. So we are already self-isolating. So I'm not downplaying this stupid virus at all.
No.
I'm just saying that it is being hyped even more to fit a narrative and to create an opening in funding for sanctuary cities and states because they just lost their pot from the government.
What do they say? Never let a good tragedy go to waste.
Dr. Greer documentary. Right. That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I got 2 minutes. Let me jump on here just real quick. I want to talk about Florida real quick. 2019 novel coronavirus, COVID-19, pneumonic plague, whatever you want to call it. Positive cases of COVID-19, 3 Florida residents, 5 Florida cases repatriated, 1 non-Florida resident. Number of negative test results, 55. Number of pending testing results, 51. Number of people under public health monitoring, 264 currently being monitored. Number of people monitored to date, 981. Now, these numbers are not bad. So the inflation by the media needs to be put into check a little bit. We have cases. We have probably more than they're telling us, but it's not taking out every man, woman, and child in the country. If you have underlying ailments, things that make this virus a sincere threat to your well-being, you need to be taking measures to protect yourself. But the hype is getting out of hand, and we need to take care of our hygiene. We need to pay attention to it, and we need to understand that a lot of people are going to get sick from it, but a lot of people are going to get better from it too. So the bottom line is, if you have underlying conditions, you need to act like this thing is next door to your house. If you don't, you probably need to carry on with the rest of your life like nothing's happening.
Well, that's
all right, Pete. That is the whole hour, all in a nutshell. But you want to give us a couple of things on your way out the door, and then I'll say goodbye to everybody.
Well, I'd just like to thank everybody. That's pretty much it.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you jumping on in short notice, man. I figured it would be an interesting show we could do together. Texas and on. 5G rolled out in China prior to outbreak. CT scan from PT in 2011 showed radiation-induced lung injury unlocked identical to PT in China with COVID-19. Right. Yeah, the 5G running at 69 megahertz or gigahertz can inhibit the uptake of oxygen into hemoglobin. Proven.
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that being said, my moderators, you guys rock the joint over here on D Live. Thank you, everybody, for the lemons and the limes and the ice cream and everything else that we get over there. Appreciate y'all. Everybody else who chose to hang out with me and Pete for an hour, love you guys. Appreciate it. And with that being
Absolutely.
said, thank you so much, Pete. You have a great
All right.
day, and
You too,
everybody
sir.
else.